Episode 17, we are in Bassein with the Bassein Thrashers, Carnage Inc. I think this podcast has been pending for a while.
Yes, man.
Because even the release was pending for a while, and we've been all waiting for Carnage next output. They did a cool music video around like a year ago.
Yeah, with August 2nd.
Sometime, that time. And it was like a stop motion video for.
Yeah, we did it in my house.
Yeah.
All DIY.
Right. So that's when we had last connected, and we featured the track as well on one of our previous podcasts.
Yeah, one of the
episodes. And now Carnage is coming back with a full length.
They have already released one single.
Single is out.
Saffron is the new black. Saffron is the new black.
Yes.
Which we'll be playing on Haramcore Plays in a little bit. But yeah, guys, tell us how's it going for y'all in Bassein? Tell us a little more about this whole being a thrash band in Bassein situation, because it's like coming till here was an experience in itself.
I know, man.
And it's quite a different world. I mean, I know the feel because I've lived in a suburb. Very different though when I was in Pune, but I get that sometimes these spaces breed a certain
it
builds some character also, I would say.
Yeah,
and so tell us
We
your
are not
journey.
even in Bassein right now. We're in Nala.
We're in Nala Sopara, right? We came from Bassein into Nala Sopara. So at Moin Studio. So yeah, tell us guys, like how's it been being a band from Bassein and doing
So, I mean, it's. I think Bassein has given a lot of metal. Talent. To the Indian metal scene.
Right.
There's I think just on the top of my head, there's Spike Crib. I think there's Bruce is
he's also from Bassein.
Yeah.
Atmosphere.
Ashwin Sharma is also from here.
Ashwin Sharma is-
Then there's Sabotage, there's Bloodkill.
Right.
Prabhu siblings.
Yeah, Prabhu siblings.
Right,
They've
right,
been
right.
here for
Right.
quite some time. So in that aspect, at least, Bassein breeds a lot of
Musicians and
that anger and that whole thing.
And
comes
they have
through.
this one festival which has one metal band every year.
Yeah.
Which is Octaves, yeah. Which happens at the engineering college in Bassein.
So basically, Octaves is the place where we sort of got the inspiration to make the band.
Got it.
Because my ex-drummer and I, we had gone for that fest. I think Black was headlining. And by then, we were just like in the nascent stage of, actually forming a band and just...
What year
thinking
was
about
this?
it. This was 2011, winter. Yeah.
Got it.
So somewhere around October or something like that.
Fuck, तभी Black भी यहीं पे रहने का, if I'm not.
Yeah. I think Sean was here.
used to stay here. Tao used to
Sean
stay
Pereira was here. Tao was still here.
Tao is still here.
Yeah. So I mean, we saw them and we were just like, dude, these guys are like awesome. Why don't we like make something like this?
Right.
And obviously, I mean, they were in a different direction with grunge and all of that stuff. But we were like listening to Slayer and Metallica and a lot of Anthrax and all that stuff. So it just like it had to happen. So we just like met one day and. The first jam was basically on a bucket. So there was a bucket. I had a second-hand acoustic guitar, which was Ibanez, but not Ibanez. It was Ibanez with an E.
Ibanez.
Yeah, it was in like
Kolkata.
Yeah, whatever. So we jammed on Green Day stuff. Yeah, we played Wake Me Up and all that stuff, and yeah, it was pretty like good days, man.
Right.
And then we decided like let's take it to the next level, and then I think I was in my second year of degree college, and then I got a gift from my dad because I fed well. So he gave me an electric guitar, and I was like, then it's like just then we just started going to jam rooms and
What is the original lineup that you all had?
Oh, so the very first 4-piece was me, Olav, there's Mayuresh and Jason Dias.
Fuck, अभी कोई भी नहीं है.
No, none of them are there. So Jason recently, like 2.5 years ago, Nikhil joined. He was there till now. And even Ola was there, but I mean, unfortunately, it's metal in India, so people quit. So so they quit, and then we just
Life happens.
Life happens, and we have to keep moving.
When did you join the band, Moin?
I think I joined around 2016 or 15, somewhere between 2015.
मोइन कहाँ से मिला तेरे को?
Oh, that's a way weird story actually. So this dude was actually a dancer.
I've heard. Mohin's a b-boy.
Yeah, so he was quite.
Not a b-boy, dancer.
And he was quite.
Bombay local.
आजकल थोड़ा in thing है ना.
Yeah. And he was in one of the best crews in all of Mumbai. So 50 shifts, which now.
Okay.
Not Bombay local. But he's worked on Bombay local tracks.
Yeah. I've heard.
So yeah, I mean, so he was into that whole scene, and then I think he formed Clay Crown with another member from Vasai.
Got it.
And then yeah, I mean, we saw them at the mall. They were playing some random set or something, and I was super impressed with this dude's chops. And actually, we had another band, Nikhil and I. Actually, they had a band. They asked me to play rhythm for them, which was Negative Theory.
Negative.
Yeah, and then so I told him that, you know, since you all need a drummer, we should ask this dude, and he's pretty good with grooves and everything. So I was like, yeah, Mohin ko puch lo tum log. So we actually rehearsed with him for Negative Theory.
Okay.
And what happened was, and these guys still bully me over that shit. मेरा band बंद कर दिया. Because
band sabotage हो गया.
Yeah. Cyril, please don't get all upset. So
Thrash metal.
yeah. So actually, Negative Theory was Nikhil, Naveen, who's our lead guitarist, and Mohin, and I joined as a rhythm guitarist. He was a vocalist, then he quit because he didn't want to do vocals. He was like, my lifetime dream is to play bass. I want to fucking do that. So yeah, I mean, he quit then.
ये किसका कहा है?
Who wants to play bass? So yeah, I mean, he's just like,
This is the first time hearing somebody's lifelong dream is to play bass.
all the bassists out there, Tabby is your man.
हो गया.
Usually guitar बजा के ऐसा यार fuck guitar नहीं हो
Shots have been
रहा नहीं होता bass बजाते हैं.
So yeah, I mean, then he quit Negative Theory, and from then on it was like downhill for all of us, because I was actually holding it together, and at that point of time, Carnage Inc was going through some weird phase also.
Okay.
So I was actually.
Did you have any releases out or anything back
with Negative
then?
Theory?
No, back then.
With
as
Carnage, yeah,
also.
we did. We had Mother's Rage, we had Killing My Love.
So you had put out singles.
Yeah, we had put out singles.
So Carnage is I think one thrash band who has been consistently releasing
Doing
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah, that is actually what, you know, I don't like. I keep telling them also, like, so we've seen a lot of bands come in and they've tried new things, like, you know, releasing one single a year and stuff like that. I mean, works for them. I'm not like complaining about that. But then for us, I knew one thing, like, we have to be putting out music on a regular basis.
But I think it's also like to do with how you guys work as a unit. Like, you handle, everyone has responsibility.
Yeah.
And I think some of the best bands in the country right now are bands that have very clear like very defined roles as band members. Like, you know, you'll take care of songwriting, of lyrics, of artwork. Mohin will take care of production. He'll, you know.
Yeah, he makes sure like we sound in every possible way.
I mean, like, everyone has their part to play when it comes to different aspects.
Yeah, so when we come into the studio and when we start about like, you know, how to write the song, so it's basic, like I get a riff. Or like multiple riffs, and then
we actually have those stickers over there on that wall when we
so
making songs and finalizing.
You guys can't see it, but
nice. Interesting. So like song idea structures.
So we used to.
इतना गाना बन जाना चाहिए, इसके बाद में ये गाने पे काम करें. That's how we
sticky notes लगा के रखता है.
Nice. गाना हो चुका है. Then we put working names on the songs, like weird names.
Working titles are always weird. Death by Fungi had a working title called क्या? Gali क्या?
We had Gully Gang and we had Sajna Ve
Sajna. Nice. Working titles are.
That is pretty cool.
But yeah, I mean, it's great that, you know, you guys have been like working on it. I mean, Vasai might not have jam rooms and stuff, so you guys set up your own space. You're making a living off of it. You know, you're making a living doing art, and it all adds up. I think, you know, you need to holistically be very solid as bands, as people in bands, or else it will just fall apart. And I think that's something like, you know, everyone should like take a cue from that, possibly from Carnage.
So what does Nikhil do?
Please.
So I work in an IT firm as professionally, so that takes my weekdays, and weekend is with Carnage Inc. So Sundays. So what we do frequently is like we jam every weekend. So that has been our thing.
Discipline.
Right. So it's always every Sunday we usually jam for 4 hours. So if you're meeting regularly, we can We ideally finish songs quickly. So that's why I think so. The album also worked out. 4 or 5 songs.
Yeah, especially with I think Varun moving down to Borivali and still coming down here every weekend for.
That is a struggle. But I have gotten used to it. Plus, I love Vasai, so I keep coming back.
Yeah. Vasai is where the heart is.
Yeah, man, totally. Yeah, so I mean, I'll just go back to what I was talking about, negative theory. So yeah, I mean, then he quit, and then I was actually more interested in working with negative theory. Because I had got into that whole.
But what was that? That was also thrash.
No, that was groove thrash.
Groovy.
Yeah, it was pretty much like I would say like a Lamb God, Sepultura-ish, the new side.
Got it.
And then yeah, so I was more interested into that at that point in time. I don't know why. I mean, it was just I think it was just a phase. Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I mean, so we were working really hard. I was jamming with these guys, Naveen and him. And then since I realized, I mean, this band is going nowhere, I would rather go back and focus on Carnage.
Right.
So I asked Naveen to join the band as a lead guitarist because our ex-lead guitarist was leaving for the US.
Right.
Which what happens, always. So he flew down over there and we got Naveen on, and I think Naveen changed the whole sound of the band.
Right.
Because what we had earlier with it was just out there, like just proper thrash, which is not really no frills basically what is said.
Right.
But then, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to say that they don't like that kind of thrash, but we didn't give a shit. So we added a little more frills with Naveen, is what I would say. So because he added more melody, he added a lot of. If you listen to the earlier stuff by Carnage, there's a lot of Carnatic soloing going on.
Okay.
And he got all of that vibe to the whole song structure. So yeah, I mean then
He was part of the first EP.
Yeah, he was. So Naveen, Moin, and Jason. Only Nikhil was not there.
Got it.
So yeah, I mean then it was Olav, our ex-drummer. He wanted to quit too because parental pressures or something like that. So again, I looked to negative theory. I was like, Moin, do you want to join the band? Yeah, and then he comes over, and then we were having some. Just going to quickly move to the end. We were having some rough times with Jason because of how he used to record. And it was a little inconsistent. Okay. So and then we approached Nikhil because he had just started taking bass lessons with Ashwin.
Okay.
So I was pretty impressed like how quickly he's picked up. So I was like, dude, please come and join this band. So it's basically negative theory feat Carnage Inc. Right now.
बस तू लोग का बैंड बंद कर
that had to come.
Well, it's survival of the fittest.
So that gets
He gets one like every day. I don't know why.
I think it's some random dude who saw us playing some stress or something like that. Just coming and liking.
कोई और नेगेटिव बैंड ढूंढता रहेगा.
Maybe, yeah.
That's negative approach. I know there's.
Yeah, that's quite an old man.
अपना अच्छा बैंड है.
Grind band, yeah, great stuff. But yeah, let's move on to the Haramcore Plays segment. Check out the new Carnage Inc single that's out. You're listening to Saffron is the New Black. Stay tuned and stay Haramcore.
Hatred brewing in their
And we are back to Haramcore Inc. We are here with Varun, Nikhil, and Moin from
Carnage
Inc.
Yep.
And we are talking about
Thrash, broadly. Yeah, we're having beer and we're talking about thrash. Isn't that perfect? I mean, I like going back to...
I love doing that.
There's a Slayer clock up, sir. But going back to like my first ever concert experience was Metallica. As a young, just green behind the ears wala chotu sa bacha, I had joined Afa Ka Zaad, the Mamta Naturalness tour bus, which was basically
Nice, man. The whole bus, right?
The whole bus was a hot box for 3 days.
Fucking
And I'm a kid who's never smoked much in his life, gets drunk occasionally, and like
got smashed.
Smashed, and how, and what an experience! I think I enjoyed the bus more than watching Metallica.
But what a gig!
What a gig!
What a fucking
It was a great gig. I'm not a huge fan of people's armpits in my faces, but I then took a little back seat and then like thoda udhar se I like the spot better.
Yeah, I remember I had in the queue before the gig. So we were standing there since 11 a.m. And I met these two.
I joined at around 1 or 2.
Yeah, I met this one Kolkata dude and 2 Kolkata dudes actually. And they offered me beer because they couldn't have it. Like they had bought like a whole buttload, and they couldn't have most of it. So they were like, do you want to have it, dude? I was like, yeah, why not? Go ahead. And then I have it, and after like an hour or 2, I think I was in the desperate need to go visit the urinal. And I was like,
you're in the line.
Yeah, and I'm in the fucking queue. I don't want to lose the spot because
Did you find an empty bottle, Phil? That's where the story leads.
Actually, that would have been a better story actually. But no, so what I did was the moment the gates opened, everyone made a dash for the front line, but I can run fast, okay? Like I can run really fast. So
we know we play football with the guy.
And I ran really fucking fast. And I see these little, those makeshift portals. So I go there and I empty myself, like pressure, get it done. And then I exit and then I go back to the stands and I'm still in like the front row. And that was like victory moment for me. I was like, fuck yes, I made it. But yeah, I mean, I think it was... Biffy Clyro, right?
Biffy Clyro opened.
And people got really upset. Like
people
why they were
bored out of their minds.
Taking too long.
It was sweaty because it was slightly like
अरे हम लोग
just us 3.
सब engineering
and neither of us knew each other.
Yeah, no one. I knew no one. I was like I was really new to the whole scene and everything.
I knew people. I was
people know Tabby more than Tabby knows people. But
the catchphrase for your wedding in
But like over the years, like I think from that point onwards, so many bands have come to India and played. But did you all manage to catch like Slayer or Testament at any point? Or?
Not Slayer and not even Testament. I think we just got Megadeth together.
Harley Rock, dude, water side.
Slayer was my biggest regret. I missed out on it. I think so in art school you have like 5-day exams. Okay, like one subject is 5 days.
Right.
And you can't really miss out on 1 day either.
Got it.
So I had gone and pleaded to my professor. I was like, just let me go for 1.5 days. I'll be back. Okay, don't worry about me finishing the exam or anything.
Right.
But he's saying like you have to put the.
This was for Slayer.
This was Slayer. And he said you have to put the present yourself and you can't go. And then I actually even considered failing 1 year because I went and spoke to my mom. I was like, please let me go. I'm okay if I give 1 more year. And she flatly said no. You won't get money. That's what she said. You won't get money. Go on your own. I was like, then the dedication level just like. I don't have money.
But now, Testament's coming back.
Dude, I just saw recently.
It's just fresh news of the,
Kathmandu.
Yeah.
Silent.
Hopefully someone gets them to India, guys. Are you listening? Please.
Yeah, please get them.
Yeah, I don't know. BOA metalized. But it's been so many bands coming and playing. I guess that influences a lot of people. I mean, I think Meshuggah coming down to India greatly changed.
Totally.
Like how people wanted to pick up instruments and play, like that kind of music.
Yeah.
So I think
And not just that, even Lamb of God and Gojira.
True. All of these bands.
And for me, it was, I think, so I saw Menon in 2007.
And that was like
So that was the
Of course. The oldest and the first gig that opened up the gates quite literally.
It was something else.
So I was there, I think, so 45,000, no?
Yeah, 45,000.
Wow.
I think Metallica was a little more than that.
It could have been. It took almost 2 hours for the place to get
Emptied, yeah. And it was muck everywhere.
It was raining.
We were walking through muck.
A lot of
people lost their bags.
Dude, it was fucking chaos, yeah. But
My bag was like covered in mud.
Right.
I remember telling one dude who got 2 plectrums, and I remember telling him about Olaf that Olaf's got terminal disease, and I want to give one of the plectrums to him. So can you lend me one? And the dude, that man, he flatly refused me. Chal bhag.
He got called out.
Like चल भाग.
Fuck dude, तू बहुत बड़ा spin मारता है. तू मम्मी में भी spin मारने हो गया, तू इस पे भी spin मारने है. मस्त.
I mean, yeah.
सही है.
Sweet. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to discuss your influences. What do you guys love listening to? Thrash or otherwise, both works, I would say. But
I think Mohin should
go for it, Mohin.
So I listen to everything.
I figured you're the most rounded banda out of the lot. He's the most thrash out of your I'm guessing.
When you do not see
Mohin, a lot of thrash.
Yeah, I listen to probably more of death metal.
Death metal,
thrash, groove.
Got it.
So it's kind of revolves around these 3 genres only. I can't like other genres much. So thrash and death is what it is.
Got it. So let's do a round of notes from the underground. If there's any acts that y'all are checking out right now, any new releases, anything y'all want to talk about, go for it, Mohan.
New releases in India.
It doesn't have to be Indian. It doesn't
not local stories.
I'm not checking.
Following much right now. But what's your classic go-to album?
My classic go-to album would be Linkin Park's Meteora.
Yeah. Okay, you're still a 17-year-old at heart. It's a great production.
And you do not find him in the studio. He's at local junction playing grunge.
तुम आते हो तो वही खींच के
अरे क्योंकि करता है वो.
The man's got to make a living, dude.
Yeah. Everyone's got to make a living, man.
वो actually कहन नहीं करता है ना अभी तो कहन बंद कर दिया.
Kahon.
At least that's.
You're sitting on one.
Yeah, we both are actually. That's a better one.
Yeah, go for it. What releases you would recommend?
For India, I would like to give a shout out to our Vasai buddies, Sabotage.
Yeah. They'll be playing a track.
So do check them out. Very good band, hardworking band. So their EP released a while back. So for that, from the Indian scene and Dhar ka, I think so I'm listening to a lot of Havoc right now. Havoc on for my side.
Sweet.
Yeah, so
very good
band, great act live. So this is what I've been listening these days.
Nice. What about you, Varun?
I would say, I think after that football match we spoke about Mastodon at length. Yeah. So Mastodon is something
I know you've been a huge fan.
Yeah, I love them, dude.
That's the one band that almost made it to India, but
yeah, and then
along with Anthrax.
I was so upset about that. Yeah. And that was like dream lineup for me because
dude,
Anthrax we have Mastodon. Limb Bizkit nahi, bro. I'll stop right there. Yeah, so Mastodon.
Limb Bizkit, yeah. It would have been fun to watch live.
Speaking of a new kid, I don't want to.
Mohin को बोलना ये सब.
Mohin might come to his.
No, he's not a LB fan. He's an LP fan.
Foo Fighters
Foo Fighters is great.
He loves
Foo Fighters is a drummer's band. I get what you mean.
Yeah, so that is my biggest.
He's more of a grunge dude, by the way. Because
I get click around influences, all of that. I get that.
I think that's what really makes our sound different. His drum parts, if you keenly observe, it's not the typical
thrash metal beats,
thrash metal scan going on or the double bass. It's never been like that. So
even in Saffron, if you listen, so there's this unique part that he's made. So if
we'll get to the album discussion in a bit. Let's just wrap up this thing.
Cool. So Mastodon, And Indian bands. Oh, Indian bands. There's a lot. There's Amorphia, Sabotage, as he said.
I think so. People should check out Amorphia. I'm sure.
Absolutely.
I'm not
Very
sure
good band, dude.
about their reach or how the album was received.
Dude,
but
they are fucking killing it in the sense
And
they
they're
have
super tight.
developed.
Just 3-piece and just.
Right.
Yes, went to
Right out
Japan
there.
also.
Yeah, they've had fantastic response in Japan. Like they've been killing those live shows, and they are extremely good live. I think.
Yeah, they are.
More so than even on record. Like they are so much more dynamic live.
Better on live.
and great dudes also. So very
absolutely.
jovial guys.
Sweet guys.
So if I haven't checked,
Absolutely.
do check out Arms to Death as well. I think so. That was my favorite album last year.
From last year.
Yeah, it was kick-ass.
Yeah. What about you, Varun?
Yeah, so Sabotage, Amorphia.
I want to talk to you about Dust Bolt actually, because they put out a new album.
Yeah, and I have been like following these guys. So actually, this is again like going to digress. One of his friends, Hiren, who used to play drums for Bloodkill, so which is another Bassein Thrash band. So I mean, these guys are pretty fucking tight. So they have changed lineups now. But Hiren, who used to play drums for them earlier, he's like a random, not so much metal listening dude.
Got it.
But he introduced me to Dust Bolt actually.
Okay.
And coming from him, I was like, oh,
Wow.
this is surprising. So I was like, okay, yeah, I mean, let's listen to it. And then I was fucking blown away. I was like, fuck, this is Soul Eraser was the album.
Right.
I think it's I think it's the album. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I heard that album and I was like, fuck, this is just too much. And they are like they're young dudes. They are 19, 20 or something like that. And they've played Walk-In. They've played
They're killing
all the big fucking festivals.
They are. They're probably like the biggest name in thrash metal right now, apart from
Emerging
Power
ones,
Trip.
yeah, Power
Apart
Trip,
from Power Trip. Power Trip is like the top of the game.
They've made it. Like
Yeah.
Power Trip has
Made
sort
it.
of made it. Yeah.
The mustache thrash. I like that. That's my favorite.
What have you
pet
been listening
peeve.
to, Sid?
Specifically, like if from a thrash perspective, I mean, I really think Revocation killed it last year. Like they're not necessarily thrash. They're more death thrash.
Death thrash,
Death thrash, and like with a very heavy prog element happening in it at the same
Right, they have a lot of. Oh, actually, that brings me to. Fuck. Sorry, babe. This band Vector.
Vector, dude.
Super fucking killer band.
Dude, Vector is a sad story also.
Yeah,
because it's
just like gone down
degenerated.
from
Yeah,
them,
it's just degenerated.
I think there was some domestic abuse allegations.
Great band, but fuck all what happened to the whole band.
Yeah, it
He
just died
literally
down.
lost his own bandmates and he like made a wreck out of his life.
Which is another section for Haramcore. Do you consider the artist and the art separate? That'll be later.
I want to get into that actually, because it's also it's something that I want to briefly touch upon, especially with themes that thrash metal usually goes about.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I think from new releases, I checked out this band called Witch Trial.
Oh, okay.
So they are a nice mix of thrash with
Witch Trial, okay.
Witch Trial. So they're like self-titled EP they put out this year. So they've got like a bit of thrash, a little bit of Motorhead kind of
that whole
that
raspy
British speed metal thing happening, and at the same time they have a little crusty element also, which it's like if you guys have checked out this band called Black Breath. Black Breath is fun. So it's basically those guys have that Swedish influence of Entombed, like mixing hardcore with extreme music.
A lot of extreme music. Yeah.
So it's like groovy, and it's got like D-beat and blast beat parts. Like it's all mixed up together.
Right.
It's pretty cool. So that's like one release within the style that I think it will make for a great listening. Check it out.
Also, since you're
what about you, Tabby?
I've been listening to a lot of Kowloon World City.
Oh yeah, that's like completely different.
Completely different.
Yeah.
I've been listening to that.
that's like post-rock.
It's like very post-hardcore-ish meets.
I think Tabby and I will connect only on two bands. It's Mastodon and Kellatak.
Kellatak is great. Kellatak is
fucking awesome band.
Kellatak, I can never stop listening.
Oh, the vocalist quit, but
they got a new vocalist.
अच्छा मैं भी आ गया.
अच्छा है वो भी अच्छा है.
चल रहा है. It continues.
Band बहुत बाप है bro.
आवाज भी ऐसा उसका
उसके ऐसे ही है. हाँ, अच्छा सही से.
Great replacement. It's been a while since I went back to listen.
Those guys are like
I've been spinning the Pacifist EP a lot.
Shout
out.
Bombay hardcore meets Bassein Thrash. right here. On that note, like, let's play some Bassein Thrash. Shout out to the boys from Sabotage as well. So we'll play a track of
Cyril, this one's for you.
Yeah. Cyril, this one's for you. We'll play a track of their album Bloodthirst. So stay tuned. This is Haramcore Plays. You're listening to Haramcore Inc.
Stay Haramcore.
Dissect who lives your grave. Disguise who rallies your save. All mass corpses we lay. Formulate the masticate. Rebuild your ass will say. What's up forever you say. Killing the game your ways escape. Without a trace. Rebuild your ass will say. What's up forever you say. Killing the game your ways escape. Without a trace. Douse the gasoline on fire. Your sear flesh is my desire. Engage the lemon is safe. Embrace the brewing pain. Provocate the skilling time. Celebrate the genocide. Evil, your acts will say. Walk out forever you say. Killing the game you waste escape. Without a trace. Evil, your acts will say. Walk out forever you say. Killing the game you waste escape. Without a trace. Douse the gasoline on fire. Your sear flesh is my desire. Welcome back to Haramcore Inc. We are in conversation with Carnage Inc.
Bassein Thrash. Right
So
here.
let's talk about your upcoming album, guys. How's it working with Keshav?
It was
ए रुक हम लोग अभी तक एल्बम तक नहीं आया है. फोर्थ वाले इसमें करना है रे. अभी हम लोग we're just talking about themes in thrash writing and all that, plus like the artist above the art. We'll do the album part last. We always do that last, no? चल one last चल, going for it. Take.
Welcome back to Haramcore Inc. We are in conversation with Carnage Inc.
Bassein Thrash.
Bassein Thrash.
Yeah.
It's actually like a
Yeah, Bombay hardcore, Bassein Thrash.
colonial name.
चलता है. Bombay
से
is also
आजा
Bombay भी colonial ही है.
तो बीच में को Portuguese church.
हाँ, अरे हाँ, sir. I was giving like a nice tour through the whole road. yeah.
Right.
Telling him everything about what's cool and what's not.
Yeah, even I got a glimpse of what's happening, like a gist of it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, we're here talking about metal and thrash and like how we've grown up as musicians over the years, I guess, with our influences and what inspires us. So like coming to the things that matter the most, themes and subject matter, like you guys are writing songs that are I would say quite strong and political right now, especially with the title like Saffron is the New Black. So I mean, you really want to stand and like say something, right?
Yeah, man.
And it has to do with the current political climate and the situation where minorities are being trampled upon. A lot of atrocities go on in the name of religion, specifically in the name of Hindu agenda, right-wing agenda. So you've made this conscious shift towards that. So what do you feel about it as within thrash and what it stands for?
I mean, I think thrash was always, if you go back to like Rust in Peace and Justice for All, it was always pretty much speaking about or against what's wrong with society.
Conservative.
Yeah, it's like it's sort of a bashing, but I mean it's not taking sides, but it's like calling a spade a spade.
Right.
So I mean, yeah, that's what the whole. So we actually have two songs which are in this album, which are pretty much going against the norm. Saffron actually came through because actually we had a conversation, Nikhil and I, and we have these conversations where we discuss politics, we discuss a lot of all this regular,
What's
uncle stuff actually.
Actually, even
doesn't have to be.
I think even Deviation Passage does that a lot.
Yeah.
Like whenever
You don't have to be old to talk.
Actually, the problem is only the old speak about it, and not the youth.
It's also because you become more aware of things when you grow older, because you don't realize how much things will impact you when you're in your formative college years or whatever. I mean, I have not been particularly very concerned with what's happening around me until you develop some degree of social awareness, and you are part of a larger world out there.
Yeah, true.
I mean, as escapist as being in a metal scene and being in this whole culture is, we are still connected to the larger world, and we.
To put it simply, if it's affecting someone now,
it could be you. It could be you. It's going to be you some other day. Yeah.
So I mean, so we were just having this conversation. I think the hashtag was "Orange is the New Black" for Donald Trump.
Okay.
And so he came up with this idea. He was like, Saffron.
Right.
Saffron is the new black. And then I was like, we should put out something like this. And then wrote up the lyrics for it, and we jammed on it. And I mean, it was as honest as it could be. We just wanted to voice it out, and we put it out there in music.
Right.
And I mean, so there's another song called "Eradicate the Empire," which is much more. I would say
anarchist.
Yeah, it's like an anarchist call. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's. I think thrash is made to call out all of this shit, and because death metal is not going to sing about it, groove metal is not going to sing about it.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, and I think when thrash started, it was always about all of this.
Right.
Like, let's just go back to Kill 'Em All by Metallica, right? And you have songs like Seek and Destroy, songs like No Remorse, which are talking about war,
right.
talking about gang
song
mentality.
Which is like the pitfalls of
and it's like it's straight up telling you what's wrong with this world, and we just felt we have to be, we have to put this out there.
Right. What about you, Moin? How do you feel about being part of a statement like that? Because I mean, Tabby also both of you all come from the Muslim community. So do you all actually feel this whole difference or inequality or whatever that's happening?
I don't know about inequality so much, but I think my sentiments go with Varun here, because obviously I also sing for Death by Funk, and this is what we speak about.
Right.
So this is majorly what we do. I don't think I have ever been like discriminated or anything. I have not been there, fortunately, because I come mostly from a privileged background.
Yeah.
But otherwise, if you go to the inside states or the small communities, definitely happens there. Like, I know people who have been discriminated against this, so I think that's what it is. So it has to be like brought in the front. It has to be spoken about.
Right.
So I think
like
it's a great job.
Do you feel like it's something that have you ever had experiences that
about like discrimination?
Yeah, like in general, like.
Yeah, like that keeps on happening every day. Like not every day, every time it keeps on happening. But I am not from a place where I'll go and just be there, like in that discriminative environment. Like I come from a very open background from family, because my mom is a Hindu, my dad is a Muslim.
Okay.
So I kind of know both sides of things.
Right.
So it's like neutral for me, but there is a lot of this happening out there.
But like in your upbringing, living in Vasai, how has that been like for you as a musician doing these things? Because I'm sure like a lot of society might not approve of these things. A lot of people might not be cool with the things that we do or the lifestyle that we might have. So how do you feel about growing up and like how your experiences shaped you as a musician?
Actually, I was never into metal firstly.
Right.
Like I never started out as a metal musician or is getting inspired from a metal band who came to India. Like most of the metal heads or most of the metal musicians in India are inspired from a particular metal band, and that's what makes them. कि हाँ मैं ये बजाऊंगा या ये type का music करूँ. I as a musician, like I always was like listening to different kind of things. Metal I started listening to when I met these guys.
Right.
I was more into Bollywood music. I used to listen to jazz, funk, pop, like a little bit of grunge. Like grunge was the first genre of music which I got exposed to, like Nirvana, Foo Fighters kind of stuff.
Got it.
And like Linkin Park, rap rock.
Got it.
So like I never thought that I'll make a living out of music. I'm playing in a thrash metal band. I used to play in another prog band earlier. So the thing is, when you're a drummer, you can't just practice once in a week, or you can't just
be restricted to one style or one thing.
So I thought because the field which I come from, it's sound engineering, has like a lot of work. You don't get like a fixed time of work. Like it's not 9 to 6 or 9 to 5.
Got it, yeah.
So uske beech mein if I like want to do music, so I can't do a full-time job in some studio, or I can't join a company. I always thought ki if I do a job, I won't be able to practice drums
as much as you can. Yeah.
So I just thought I'll play with my metal band, play with my all the bands, and try to make money out of drums by playing commercial music as well. So that keeps me connected to music all the time.
Right.
So there hasn't been.
But like I'm saying, like with your being brought up here and like with society around us, like did you ever feel like an opposition because people are too conservative, or people like just want to like bring you down, tell you to call it quits and stuff like that?
Yeah, I have like a lot of people have told me that you won't be able to do this.
Within family they are like, what is this that you do? Do you really work or not? And being a musician, and my family is like a whole Pathani and 5 waqt namaz and all, and I wear shorts and show up at an event. So you would say they're quite conservative?
Yeah, they're very conservative, but I never faced any kind of problems from my parents. Like my parents let me do what I wanted to. Like, and I think then they have kind of faith in me that music, if he's doing something, let's at least wait for have a faith in him. And
are they aware of like you're not doing politically motivated music right now?
Yes, they are aware. My dad actually listens to Carnage Inc.
Yeah, his dad is like one of our biggest.
Dude, that is the best, funniest thing. Utkarsh's entire family supports pacifist non-stop. We get half our likes and everything from. Yeah. Family is always cool like that.
Aryaman's dad.
Yeah, Aryaman's dad also fought that by fungi. It's damn funny, but it's damn cute, and it's good that even if you come from like a conservative background, they are accommodating enough and like, you know.
I think that is what worked in my case also, because my parents have also not forced me. Like my extended family is sort of little more conservative. I would say little more, like not as conservative as Mohin's, but a little more conservative. But I have never been like forced into. My parents let me do what I wanted to do. So that has always
which is how it should be.
Which is how it should
pretty
be.
cool that way.
Thoda support to chahiye. Because all my other cousins are doctors and engineers, man. I'm the only one who fucking does
it's actually, you know, it's a good thing that, I mean, I'm just digressing again.
It's cool.
But, you know, like parents, whatever we are, like, you know, all of us little indie musicians.
And they would have been a bit skeptical at first, but then they see that we are happy doing what we are doing. I think
but it's like, because of, like, you know, let that, like them supporting a little.
खुश है.
हाँ, वो contentment है, तब तक है, अच्छा है, मतलब वो that is good.
It's true. Like I think people demonize Indian parents a little too much.
I think so too.
They actually end up being quite supportive. If you know,
once you like explain it to them or show that you have something to, you know,
I think it is that like small phase where you are transitioning into it when they are a bit skeptical, but all parents are.
They are. Like ये लड़का अभी बिगड़ जाएगा वाला जो टेंशन आता है. But yeah, moving on, like, you know, talking about like things thrash metal usually likes to talk about, like war and themes of war, so anti-war songs. But then at the same time, you know, you've seen like bands like Metallica also, they've transitioned from being somewhat an anti-war kind of band to being pro-war when like the Black Album came out and they put out a song like Don't Tread on Me. And like there was that shift, so, like I probably had to do with Hetfield also as an American
in that pro-gun. So.
I mean he is quite conservative if you think about it. If you think about Mustaine right now is an openly
he's openly
Republican, openly Christian.
Kicked out of a
dude. I mean,
he's
openly, even before that he's kicked out dissection.
No, they've been defunct for a while.
No,
Rotting Crash को निकाला.
Chris, no, what is the name? I forgot. Dissection only. Dissection.
But they've been defunct for a very long time.
No. So they had a gig before, and so they were supposed to play with Megadeth.
Right.
And Mustaine asked him to ask them to sort of
get
off board.
Like, so there's this, you know, people are feeling this kind of hypocrisy within thrash itself as a style, where it probably stood for something in the 80s and then it lost track at some point. And even if you look at like popular thrash bands or even like bands like Devoid for that matter, like people love party thrash. People love the whole beer and thrash thing. But then like when it comes to probably like doing a little more political thrash, people's enthusiasm drops a little bit.
True.
So like did you all feel that with the release and the reception for it? Or was there any backlash or criticism?
I think ideally. See, for us, I think so. If we think ourselves, for the major points which we like to go anti is probably religion and politics. So if you go to the previous EP as well, we do have songs which deals with religion and all.
Right.
And
Ungod, and even this EP, this album has few songs pertaining to that. So people can think whatever. I think so. We wanted to put out the tracks. So I'm not really concerned about how would be the backlash. I think so. Maybe Saffron is the New Black could piss off some people. Not ideally from the scene, I guess, but
outside of it.
So because like I can share you one example. Like last week only I shared the music to my colleagues. So I think so everybody kind of
judged you for it.
Yeah, obviously.
At work.
Yeah, ये क्या है Saffron मतलब, and it's that's the thing.
ऐसा नहीं होता है, ये सब मीडिया ने बना दिया ऐसा टाइप का कुछ justification दिया.
So this is so my major part for writing the song was both conversation only. कि मतलब like you are working in an IT firm, you have like your managers, everyone. If you're traveling internet, and this is the only topic which they want कि Hindu, Muslim, and they have nothing else to speak to. So I think so. I was very adamant,
you're going to stick to our guns.
Yeah, and we will definitely song lyrics kaisa bhi bane, but we will have a song with the name that.
I think when we went to Keshav's studio for the last bit of refining, even Keshav had given us like an advice. He was like, why do you? I mean, so we sort of told him that this is what it is.
Right.
And he told us like, we are not the mass here. Like the mass is the other side, okay, and then you can't stand up to them, and he sort of like it was good advice. It was, I would say, it was just advice which was like, you know, trying to look out for your
Yeah.
So he was like, you know, why? I mean, don't be.
You want to pick a battle that you can't win.
You can't win. Yeah, and so I listened to his advice. I was like, I mean, you're right. Everything you're saying that is right, but we've released it, so so it's out there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I already made.
Cool. So that's like, you know, wrapping up this section. Let's move on to Haramcore Plays. Let's listen to some thrash from Bangalore, from our guys Piston, Rakshit Tharoor's band. You're going to check out pretty cool band. They should be up to something new. I've been speaking to him. Great band. They don't take bullshit from no one. they're also quite vocal about, you know, their political opinions. Check this out. This is a song from them. This is called Enslaved Minds. You're listening to Haramcore Inc. Stay around.
They tell me what to think, what to do, how to feel. Yours is the boy, minds are unleashed. Drilling in deep through the process complete. Jack to the gap, through the lines in the sea. Beat the body weaker, it's a blood blood shore. Telling us to be out of the bloody war. Real thoughts, real minds, place to be. Day of awakening awaits no way. And they might show real life. Human life is the ultimate price. Lots of game to fucking obey. The boss we do shall not be brave. They'll let you know choices you want to take with. Judging me for what you last place, but they leave. The way of not fucking life, not the third wall. You never mind, no one's fighting by yourself. Suicide for your purpose, that is self-betrayed. The future bleak on the weak of the human race. Freedom is an already, and now it's seen the fucking thing. Human life is not feeling of inside the bay. Enslaved life, show real life. Human life is the ultimate price. Suffocated to fucking obey. The force we do shall not be brave. Like to change your black and steel. Face the death, the steering heat. Face the silence, face the fear. It's the initiative and it's the end is near. Right, yes, go to wild the skill. Make them suffer, make them bleed. What's that sin? It's the way we survive. Overthrow your masters, we got to prevention.
We're back on Haramcore Inc. with Carnage Inc.
And yes.
and Beers and talking about Tenebris, their upcoming full-length album. Yes. So tell us more, like
When is it releasing?
Yeah, what's up with
we are planning for a September 8th release. Actually, we're working for a launch gig.
launch gig?
So under wrap.
Yes,
Adit knows about it.
It's word's going to be out soon.
Yeah,
so
it'll be out soon.
Stay, keep
So
paying attention.
yeah, I mean, and then after that we might like look at a tour or something. I mean, that's still under works.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, the whole album is looking pretty good. Like, looking
It
solid.
sounds great. I mean, the single sounding really
I
good.
really
I think it's one of the better and the better mixed and produced songs to come out from even all the bands that Keshav has recently been producing, I feel.
He's done a great job. I mean,
So how's it working with him, man? Like,
it was fun, dude. I'll say one thing, like this dude is like super professional. उसको मतलब ज़्यादा कुछ explain करने का ज़रूरत नहीं पड़ता है. The first thing is he does a take on your music. And like he'll do it on his own, and फिर तुम
Without reference.
Yeah, he won't like ask you कि कैसा चाहिए. He'll do it on his own, and then we have to sort of give him our feedback.
Right.
But I would say 9 out of 10 times he got it right.
Right.
Actually, 7 out of 8. Because 8 songs. So he got it right that way. And yeah, I mean, it was quite cool. We used to only talk on mails, and actually Naveen used to talk to him. बहुत prompt response and it's smooth ride. Like we didn't have to, like bang our heads or something.
you like to go to a studio?
We both did.
Did you all like how did you produce the album with did you all record here? And
Yeah, we recorded here, right?
Okay.
He recorded.
Right in this room.
In this room.
Super. That's like how even we've done our stuff. Yeah.
So for drums, actually, this time, like the thing is for the album, we were looking for a old school style of thrash album, but not an old school
Sonically.
sounding.
We didn't want something which was dated. It sounded dated.
We didn't want that our album sounds like some album from 80s or 90s.
Right.
So this time over, we decided like let's track the drums on an electronic kit so that we can have different sounds when we process. So we went to Varun Sood's place to track the drums and vocals, guitars, everything we tracked here in Nala Super.
Got it. Sweet. And then like Keshav went about mixing it.
Yeah.
And we sent him the files and he was like happy with the
Yeah, he's pretty stoked actually.
Sweet. Awesome. So you guys are doing a video premiere sometime soon?
Yes, we are planning one, and Tushar Dhanawade is the guy.
Okay, sweet.
Working with him.
Sweet.
So let's say, I mean, if everything works out well, we will be premiering it on 26th.
Sweet.
Yeah. Otherwise later, just in case.
Tell us about how did you all write the the writing process?
So this was a long discussion with respect to whether we needed an EP or
an album.
Yeah.
I think that is a discussion with most of our
Most of the bands.
Because
Yeah.
it's always more cost effective to do EPs.
EPs, yeah.
because I think so last year we began working thinking of an EP. I think so he tracked all the 5 songs and you remember drum?
Yeah, we tracked
So
it,
we tracked the drums and the guitars first for with respect to an EP. Then I think so we kind of, it was a tough decision because there were obviously conflicting opinions from everyone, but we thought maybe now it's the time to go for an album right now since we already have an EP and it's been 3 years now. 2016
years.
So that's how it began. So like I said earlier, we usually jam every weekend. So he is the primary songwriter. So he comes up with riffs and we sit on it. And the latter was quite fast, I think.
Yeah,
so
actually it was. The last 4-5 songs,
I think so it got made in 1 month only, I think so.
Okay.
Do you all keep a timeline when you're like making songs?
No
timeline.
Actually, the
Jams are how you all write.
Yeah, so the thing is, we don't keep timelines because we actually, मतलब नहीं होता है उसमें यार.
Yeah. It's not a job.
Yeah, it's not a job, and we want to like have some
Fun,
creative, fun.
give it space to like make
totally.
something.
So like Saffron was made in almost a week because I came up with this riff. No, actually he came up with a drum
idea.
That's the so it's like a unique drum lick. That's what you want, like a beat or whatever. So he came up with this really nice lick with the drums, and I was like, oh fuck, this is super cool. And it's not traditional thrash metal drum.
Got it.
So it's like a skank plus something else. So I was like, I mean, I should write a riff on this. And then I wrote a riff on that, came back together, and then we just made the whole song that day. And it was done. I mean, it just
some
flowed.
songs just click like that.
It just flowed.
I know what you mean.
And it was there. And we didn't have to like do any modulations, nothing. It was just there.
Got it. But what can people expect from the album? Like how like you mentioned, it's not like stereotypical thrash.
Yeah, it is.
It's not like straight up, or it's not even like a retro themed thrash album.
No, yeah.
So like what can people expect out of the album?
I would say it's to give context, it's like a Ride the Lightning. So you've got like really heavy stuff, you've got like really fast stuff, and then you have a nice power ballad.
Oh, nice. That's a good one.
Yeah, so I mean, it's got it's
Sabotage actually reminded me a lot of Metallica, especially
the
in parts.
riffing and everything.
Yeah, in a lot of parts. but yeah, you were saying so. It's going to sound like Ride the Lightning in terms of
the scope
variety
of work, the scope, the variety of work.
How different is it from your previous EP?
It's much more angry, and
that's always a good thing.
Yeah, it's much more angry. It's much more, I would say, layered.
Nice.
Because earlier, see, the thing is the way
I think it works out also. Like when you like done with an EP, like you evolve as a writer.
You want to grow your skills.
And see, we don't want to keep doing the same thing.
doing the same
I mean,
over and over again.
फिर क्या है वो मतलब death of an artist, dude. I mean, you don't want to like put out the same shit every night. And so I mean, we are seeing a lot of bands which are thrash, and not just Indian or I mean both international, national, whatever. So they've been doing their shit, and it's being the same for a long time. It's okay, works for them again. So I'm not complaining, but we don't want to do that.
The only constant.
Yeah. Stabism.
इसको philosopher बनाने को.
So yeah, I mean,
दाढ़ी है.
we didn't want to stick to like the quintessential modes of thrash. Actually,
it works for some bands.
Yeah, I mean, no. What I was saying was actually thrash was never supposed to be.
Safe.
Yeah, like it was supposed to push the boundaries.
So, yeah. I mean, that's why great bands like Voivod and like
Yeah, Vector, right?
Vector exists.
Going back to that, yeah, I mean, and even like the classic albums like Rust in Peace and
have
Master of
pushed the
Puppets.
envelope and how.
Yeah, and Justice for All, dude. For that matter, it's for me, it's like the best fucking album from
Metallica. That's a strong statement to make.
It is. Not production wise. Remastered version. Yeah, but it's one of the best, and that's what we take from. I mean, that's what we pull in from.
Right. So will we expect like Carnage to do like with an orchestra like an album?
No. That is pushing too much.
I think there's going to be an S&M too.
I think Brahma did that, right?
I don't know.
They did a whole orchestra.
We have to dig and find out. We'll have to look into Universal के catalog में ढूंढना पड़ेगा.
Brahma is the same band who like जिसके बारे में बात करने सब डरते हैं वही.
डरने कोई डरता नहीं है.
सब लोग बात करना पसंद. वो वीडियो के स्टार्ट में ना कोई गांड भरा बोलता है. ध्यान से सुना. गांड भरा. At some point, right? I think it's like 25 seconds. पहले 4 सेकंड में हमें गांड भरा.
Tammy does a great imitation of Devraj. Especially the move, yeah. This move.
What is this? What is that? Unfriend.
Kaya tera universal contract.
Wave it by. Isn't he like Jajo and some?
He is. The voice, I think.
Not the voice, it's the
stage. The stage. Voice, stage, kuch to hai.
Yeah, it's the something.
The noun.
The noun.
It's colors infinity.
But yeah, guys, what are your plans like with the release? Like you're playing some shows.
Yeah.
Do you all want to like possibly like you've seen Amorphia hit Japan?
Yeah.
Try and find like listeners outside of India as well, because I think that's like the next step for every band like putting out good music.
So we've been with the EP, Kunal helped us push out. Yeah, so a lot of our music.
Shout out to Kunal, I think so.
Yeah,
back then we are quite young and naive as to how.
I mean, almost like no one knew.
Yeah.
And I think so. The EP release kind of separated us from the bands which were with us
just
together.
Doing singles.
So they were just doing singles and
getting by.
Yeah, post the release and thanks to Kunal and his awesome team at TO, we played a hell lot of shows.
Yeah, we played almost 8 or 9
shows
that whole year.
That includes
I think y'all did that thing with Proximity also.
Yeah, we did. Durance of 8 tour. With Harsha actually.
With Harsha.
So now this time it's we don't have any label as such, so we are doing it DIY. So
let's see how
now the plan is to at least go north. We have not played much.
So we want to hit the north.
Right.
Hey, promoters in the north.
You know whom to get in touch with.
Yep.
Please do.
Please do.
Yeah. Like you want a good fucking thrash band.
Yeah. Great fucking music. Representing Bassein Thrash right here with Carnage Inc. We're going to play some stuff of Tenebris. Check the album out when it. So that's it. Episode 17 with Carnage Inc. This has been great.
Yeah,
lovely talking to you guys. Lovely hanging out.
Thanks for coming here.
Yeah. It's been fun hanging out.
Nala Supara is not awesome, but
the ride here was bad.
The ride here was insane.
मैं सीधा केरला पहुंच गया. वैसे
Coastal Road, bro.
Vasai is anyways 50% like Power Public and Malayalis for me.
It is that.
But yeah, that's about it. Episode 17. Stay tuned, stay Haramcore.
Haramcore.
Until next time. Cheers.